hot stuff. What do you do when you have been ripped off? When you have poured your heart, your soul, your creative energy into a piece of work, content, an offer, anything within your business, and you see someone, they haven't said it, but we both know that they have been directly inspired by you. And inspired is probably a nice term. I think something more accurate would be the bitch ripped me off. Let's talk about it. I'm going to start by saying that it is an unfortunate part of doing good work. People will rip it off. And I want that to sink in for a second. If you are doing good work that impacts people, that stays with people, they are going to appropriate what you do. Sometimes it's like there is just going to be a slight influence that will come across within their content. Other times you are going to be like, okay, hold on, this feels like word for word what I have done. And I feel like that as we are entering the AI age of content and content creation, and I feel like this also started a lot with trends online and on social media, where, it is very normal for someone to see something on Instagram and then put their own spin on it. Because they may feel like it's a trend, it's like they don't really credit the source. This stings when you feel like that there is a lot of effort and creative energy that gets poured into these projects. And it hurts even more when you have been like the origin of this idea. You see someone else has kind of like come in and they've taken it up and it seems to be working better for them. This has been something that I have experienced in my whole entrepreneurial life. And I have a funny story. I was meant to be working with a company on some pictures. They liked my Pilates images. They're like, we want to use them. And I was like, oh, okay. And they said, oh, we'll pay you. And I was like, oh, look, and I'm so fucking young and stupid. Like when I tell you guys that I started my business and I was like young and stupid, like this is a perfect example. And I was like, oh, look, no, it's okay. Like, you don't have to pay me. Just like credit me in the images. So I remember opening the newspaper at home and seeing my image and there was no credit. And this was in a campaign. And I ended up going ballistic and I ended up getting this pulled out of all of the media that they were going to be using. In hindsight, they should have just said, look, we will just pay you. Actually, you know what? I don't even think they offered to pay me. I think that they said that they would just credit me. And I was like, yes, that's fine. And all of these images were in like the newspaper, the local news, and there was no credit for me. And it was one of the shots that was taken on my DVD shoot. And then what happened? I ended up seeing the same image. When I mean the same image, I mean they had gotten someone to do the pose that I had done. They had tried to nail this photo shoot. So they had basically, it was like, how Celeste Barber will go and copy like these model shoots. That is essentially what they did with this fucking picture. And it kind of backfired on them because, this happened in a relatively small town. And all of my clients were like, this kind of looks like you, but worse. And it was really funny because when this happened, I remember it was a real shit show at the time. And when my clients started to see a badly done example of what I had gone and done first, the only thing that they saw when they saw these images were, this is like a second-rate Peter. And that started to become quite funny. The reason that I'm bringing this up is because when you get really activated by this, it may start to hurt is because this is potentially work that you want to be known for, or it is something that is important for you. And you feel like that you haven't been recognized in this situation, but your competitor has been recognized, or someone that you feel like may be doing a better job than you. Because let's be honest, if you see someone copy you and they're doing a pretty shit job, there's a chance that you're not really going to care about it too much because you're like, well, they've done a really bad job. They can't compete with the real thing. But where this is going to hurt is if there is some little seed within you that feels like that the person that has ripped off your work could do a better job than you, or could get the praise, or has a better reach. And it's like, I want you to think back to a time where it's like you have been copied and ask yourself, what about it stung? Was it that I actually felt like that this could have paid off for them and not me? Because I think sometimes this is what happens. we see our work that has been appropriated and then we think, how the hell are they getting all of the praise? Or we get really worried about this. And what I want to say here is if you feel that that is happening, this has then highlighted something that is so important, like within your body of work. And this needs to be front and center with your brand. So why I say this is one of the reasons that I started the podcast was I needed to put my intellectual property, I needed to take it out of being behind a paywall, and I needed to put it in something with a timestamp. I needed to put it on the podcast, put it on YouTube, put it on my feed so that people knew that this was my work. Because where this was really fucking me up was people were coming into my programs, they were having a really good experience, they were taking stuff out of Give Good Email, really teaching this methodology as their own. So they would go and they'd be like, here's what you need to know about email, which would be appropriating my work. And then they would get clients. And this would really, really hurt. It really hurt for me is because I realized that they were publicly sharing my knowledge, but could I really get angry? And of course I could get angry, but stay with me here. Could I get angry when they were making my work visible and no one knew that it was my work because it was behind a paywall? And what I had to do in this situation was get really clear on I need to give more value and more for free because I need people to know that this is my fucking work. And if people want to work with me, they will want to work with me. And this is why, like, there are always free events. I will always put my work out there and I regularly post. Anytime I feel like that I'm getting annoyed or ripped off or copied, what this tells me is that I need to be more visible and I need to own my intellectual property and I need to own what makes me me. I have seen clients before that have taken little phrases and things that I've done. And am I annoyed? Oh, like not really. Do I wish that they could think for themselves? Yes. Am I happy that they're in action? Sure. But if it really annoyed me, do you know what I would do? I would have a conversation with them and I would be like, hey, that little thing, I would really appreciate if you didn't use my work. Sometimes they're not even conscious of it because I want to say this as well is when you are so magnetic with the work that you do and it's like, this is good work, even if people aren't like, if they're not conscious of copying, the work that you have done has kind of like permeated their brain on this like cellular levels. Someone's probably listening to this now with like a biology background and they're like, you can't permeate the brain on a cellular level. Hopefully you know what I mean. But it's like it has stayed in their brain. It has stayed in their subconscious and it is something that they are thinking about. They are thinking about this regularly. And because they are thinking about it, there's a chance that they have forgotten the source. Because I think sometimes this can happen not intentionally, but people have kind of like they've absorbed something, whether it be from a podcast, someone's content, or a training. They've thought about it. Maybe they think about it regularly. They've journaled on it. They've reread something. It's like they've been, really in like a spirited, like writing an Instagram story. That thing has come out and then they're looking at it. They're looking at the work that they feel that they have written, even though it's yours. And they're like, that's good shit. I'm going to run with that. I think this has happened before with me. I feel like this has happened a lot. I've been sharing content on and off, actually online. My first blog, oh my God, 2007 was my first blog, or it could have been earlier. It was called Peter Loves Food. It's still up. It's fucking atrocious if you want to search the internet and find it. So if you have seen that happen before, where you feel like that you have spoken about something in an email or in content, you start to see people within your network like almost like echo little pieces of you. And you're like, this is really feeling painful. I want you to see that this is a good sign that your work is sticking with people. This is a great sign that what you are saying is like really staying with them so much that they are thinking about this continually. They are like, it's actually, they're journaling about it. They're talking about it. That is a sign of good work because bad work is not repeated. Bad work is forgotten. Bad work is like a really terrible profile on Tinder. It's just going to be swiped past and forgotten. It's like if you ask about a really like a bad, mediocre profile, If someone swipes past 10 profiles and you're like, hold on, what color shirt were they wearing? You're not going to remember. But when you see a good profile, when you see someone and you are like, oh my gosh, it's like they are charismatic. There is an energy and a presence about this person. Oh gosh, they're so attractive. Whatever it is, you'll remember that. That stays with you. And it is the same with good content, good concepts, and good work. It will stay with people, and therefore it has a higher rate of being ripped off. Now, there are always going to be shit people out there that cannot come up with their own original thought. And this is why it is also up to you, and why so much of what I'm about is entrepreneurial mentorship. It's about, having self-leadership, self-trust, discipline. It is about speaking up, having uncomfortable conversations, difficult conversations. And there are also going to be times when you see that some bitch has copied you and you have to then say, hey, this thing that you said feels like that it is a bit familiar with my work. I know that you're on my mailing list, and I would really actually love if I could be credited from this. That being said, if I have got this completely wrong, I apologize. And then you leave it. And this has been conversations where I've had to have a lot of these conversations before. I've had people that have directly ripped off entire Instagram captions. I have had people that have taken entire units of Give Good Email and put them into carousels, word for word, as their own work. And it hurts. It feels like a knife to my heart when people are seeing the end result of thousands or hundreds of thousands of hours of mastery and me living this and getting it so I am so experienced in this that I can convey this in a way where it's so simple and easy for you to understand. And it hurts when someone takes that and they share it. And this is where you need to be able to use your voice. This is also where you probably need to have a bit of a lawyer in your back pocket. I personally have never had a need for kind of going that far. This is usually resolved with a bit of a conversation. But if I needed to, I would have absolutely no qualms in contacting a lawyer and having this, have them take over on my behalf. But what I'm also going to say is, and not that I have any legal background, but I think it is easy for your work to be credited back to you, and in situations like this for people to be like, oh yeah, I can see the lineage here of all roads lead to this person, this is Peter's work, is that you need to get this out there, and this needs to be something that you are known for. Because what you want to happen is you want people to see something and they're like, oh, that is so distinctly this person. I can tell that they are working with this person, or I can tell that that is the work of so-and-so. And what happens in this moment is, especially if you are kind of going through this period where you feel like that everyone is getting the praise that is yours. And you are like, I am so sick of people taking my creativity and packaging it up and getting the praise that I should be getting. What happens in situations like this is that when people find out where the work originated from, you just go from from being an unknown to all of a sudden going up 50 different levels. They are like, oh wow, this is amazing. I love that I have finally discovered the source. I didn't even know this was the source. Let me go and binge their entire body of work. I have to know about them. The person that introduced them to the work, there is a chance that then there's a little bit of, I don't know, it's just they change. Their perception of that person will change. And I've had this before. I listened to a keynote of someone who basically told the entire work of Brooke Castillo's model. And I remember hearing this in the keynote thinking this is just incredible work. And then getting referred to Brooke's podcast and hearing this and being like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this person had done a keynote and they hadn't credited Brooke the whole time. And I think this is where if you have been someone that has wanted to maybe be heavily inspired by something that you see and you feel like that it diminishes you whenever you credit back, it absolutely does not. This is something that I try to do all of the time. If I have been heavily inspired by someone's work, or if I read something, or if I learn something, or if I learn a concept and I will credit them. I will be like, this is the work of Brooke Castillo. I heard this from Alex Hormozy. I love his take on this. And for me, I don't see this as ever making me feel like that I don't know what I'm talking about because I'm crediting other people. I see this as coming across as someone that is a lifelong learner, that is, listening to what other people do. And it's like I'm still focused on mastery, but I'm still so interested in what those around me are doing. I'm not living in like a vacuum of my own thoughts and my own experiences. I am really interested in what lives outside of me. So if you have been copied, what I'm going to say from this is I want you to get clear on why you are annoyed or what is coming up. And if you feel like that they have got the credit for the work, or if it seems to be working for them, this is where I'm going to say, what I want you to do is I want you to double down on that, because that is obviously really important. If you feel like that they have taken something and maybe you are like not that visible on that particular topic, what would it look like for you to create a mini course? What would it look like for you to create a piece of content and pin it on your feed? What would it look like for you to put on your website? And when you start to see people take pieces of you, it's like, how can we own that intellectual property and really make it front and center? So I want you to see this as this is a side effect of when you do good work. This is going to happen when you really focus on developing your unique body of work. When you come up with stuff that is so authentically you, it is going to impact people, and they will rip it off if they are conscious of it or if they are not conscious of it. The only thing that you really can control before anything else is yourself, because how you handle your emotions in this is going to dictate everything that happens on from that. Like if you then get on stories and you're like, if bitches could stop copying me, pause. Trust me, I get that. I get that feeling of wanting to just like swing a bat around and just break some shit. I understand that. But it's not really going to like help things. And this is where it's like you don't want to be the bad person in the book, even though the other person is copying. Okay. So we take a breath and we deal with it. And I think for like 99% of you, why this is going to hurt is because the praise that they are getting is your fucking praise. And this is where we get to do something about it. Come in from that level-headed state. And again, really see it as this is a sign that you are doing something worthwhile that is so fucking good that people can't help but rip it off. Hot stuff. I love this. I love you. Guess what, babes? I'm back in a hotel. I've got my sexy little robe on and I feel really like good and emotional about this. I bought this when I did my branding shoot for PB. So I bought this at the end of 2021. It was ridiculous. Like oh my God, it was expensive. It was spenny. And it felt like a huge stretch because we'd just come out of lockdown. I was living on JobKeeper. So that was like, what, $3,000 a month. We got this business grant. And I was like, I want to go all out for this shoot. And like all the shops here were closed because everyone was sick. And I ended up getting this and some pants. It's like a silk velvet robe. And the company is, what is it, Sleeping with, oh my gosh, is it Sleeping with Jacques? I'm sure that's how you say it. And I love it. It's beautiful. I get compliments on it. Even though I did wear it to work once and someone was like, are you in pajamas? And I'm like, it's robe-esque. Do you know what I mean? Like it is obviously a robe, but like, I'm not going to wear my fucking pajamas to work. Like, from what you know about me, do you really think that I'm going to rock up in Peter Alexander? Like, I love that people think that I would do that, but I feel like that's actually a little bit off brand for me. But anyway, I love you more than my robe. I love you more than my little staycation. Oh my gosh, I feel really good. I had only declared recently that I was going to hire. Like this week, I'm like, okay, I need to hire. I need some help with content, just really around like the output with the podcast. Like this, I love doing it. Oh my gosh, I love doing it. But I feel that outsourcing stuff like this becomes quite costly. There's a company I know and they can edit the podcast, and the editing an episode is like $400, like maybe it's like $500. And you think about it, 2 episodes a week, that stacks up. And if that's just that, it becomes this real huge outlay. I don't have sponsors. I pay for everything myself. And I don't monetize the podcast. The only way that we monetize it is by me talking about my offers in the hope that you'll work with me. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, whatever that saying is. I was thinking about like, I feel like I need someone to kind of help with the content. So like repurposing things into clips and shit like that. But anyway, then I was like, well, hold on. I really love the idea of just going away once a month. And do I think that I could be a little bit more organized? Yes. And I think in business, you're going to get to a point where it's like, and I've said this before, it's not either or. It's not like you being like, I'm going to pay myself or I'm going to do this. But I feel that you are going to have a point where with your expenses or with paying yourself more, it does become either or. So it's like we can either go away or I can hire. And I know that some people will say, yes, but if you hire and you get someone to help with content, then you're going to have the ability to kind of like coach more and get more clients. And to that, I'm going to say that makes sense if I am turning away people. If I have a problem where I'm turning away people and I'm like, I can't work with you because I have no time, that would make sense to hire more. We're not there yet. And the reason that we're not yet there yet is because most of my offers are scalable. It's like it's going to be rare for me that I'm going to have a cap on how many people I can take because of how I've structured my business. So for that reason, it's like, So I still think I'm going to do it, but let me tell you, the idea of going away once a month for a weekend so I can have a sexy little break, I can do my content is very, very, very appealing. But who knows? Knowing me, I will wake up like on Tuesday morning next week and be like, fuck it, I'm hiring. The job ad is going out today. I got to do it because that feels like quite on brand for me to do. And it's also written and it's been sitting there. I've done nothing with it. So there's also that. We got off track there. What else do I love you more than? Oh my God, I bought this coat. I'm really into like jackets and coats. I don't really know why, but it is like this. Hold on, let me show you. You're going to hate if you listen to the podcast because I feel like there's been lots of visual examples. Hold on, I'll be back. Okay. Can you see this? It's like this. It's like an animal print. It's got like a waxy metallic coating. So I love you more than that. I love you more than my fresh roots. Actually, I'm in the runway. Oh my God. Okay. I love you more than my life at the moment. So I've got fresh roots. My nails look great. My skin is actually looking really good. I do have this pimple that's so big that I keep going to like fall forward. So that's a problem. I'm in the runway to ovulation. I'm really loving my wardrobe at the moment. Like stuff is just feeling good. And it's a good feeling. I'm going to give you a Peter Saris life tip. I know who I am and I know what looks good on me and I know what my vibe is. And I never kind of will be like, I have an event coming up, I need a dress. Because my whole thing is I just want it in my wardrobe. I want an opportunity to be there and I literally can open my wardrobe and I pull something out. And I shop like that. So I'm really discerning when I shop. I only want to buy standout pieces that I am so obsessed with. And that is really how I like live my life and I put things in my wardrobe. And I've got some good stuff in there at the moment. It feels good. Like getting dressed every day feels so fun. And if you're like, I am not there, go buy yourself something. Go buy yourself something that fits your body like really well and makes you feel lush, makes you want to like shake your titties around and like go out, be like, oh, I just want to go out to dinner. I want to wear this out. Like something that feels good and inspiring. Oh, I love that. Hot stuff. Thank you. I hope you love this episode. It is Thursday night at 9:45. I think we are going to go for another one. And then I'm going to watch a movie, have a cup of tea, get into bed, relax, wake up, have breakfast, and do it all over again. I'll see you on the next episode, hot stuff. Mwah.